Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Moskalensky Show, Show 22. We got some interesting topics today. We're going to be starting off with one that will probably get me killed. No, hopefully not. I mean, I kind of semi-survived the Star Wars one. I wasn't getting as much criticism as I thought I'd be getting. Still some, of course. I mean, that's inevitable. When you talk about Last Jedi, unless you're talking about like box office stats or something like that, everyone's going to hate you for your opinion. But one thing that I did find interesting was not a lot of people hated me. I mean, genuinely, not a lot of people hated me for my opinion. I got a new setup. Actually, let me show you here. Oh, wait. That's right. I'm using a different setup today. I can't show you. I had a whole joke planned. Well, that's depressing. Anyways, again, actually, no, again, I just kind of generally brought up a topic about the fact that I didn't get executed after the last BMS. Our current topic is canon, not the kind of canon that they fought with in the Revolutionary War. Well, actually, more so pirate ships. I mean, they didn't have too many cannons during the Revolutionary War, I don't think. But C-A-N-O-N, again, only two N's in that word, discussing the canonicity of certain things and how people take that subject and apply it into the movies. This, I guess you could count this as doing another Star Wars section, but this kind of is a more broad version of the same topic. But before I get into that, now that the introduction's out of the way, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284. Is it? Yeah, 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. Looks like. Yeah, everything's okay. Things are working well. Yes. Yeah, yes. Just one last audio check. As you can tell, I have a beautiful singing voice. All right. Perfection. Let's get right into this. Let's get right into the news. I feel bad that I did that. And by the way, oh my gosh, that's what I should have done. Shoot. Well, okay, I'll do this next week. I have some more opinions on Keemstar. And you guys always love the Keemstar episodes. More so, I shouldn't say. Well, actually, no. You guys probably like the FouseyTube stuff more, just because it's fewer and more far between. So I put more effort into the FouseyTube stuff. But I do a ton of Keemstar. You guys love when I talk about Keemstar. So I'm going to be doing a segment next week, assuming I have the show next week, about everyone's favorite and least favorite, mostly least favorite gnome, and my nonstop, always. That's great English, developing opinions on the man, the myth, the gnome, the legend himself. Canon. Sorry, I was just making sure my phone wasn't going to start ringing in the middle of this show. What is canon? It's something that's official to a certain timeline. Could be Zelda, or like it could be video games, could be a movie series, could be a show series. But what defines canon? Well, that would be the what the owners of whatever product say is canon. Be it a massive company like Disney owning Star Wars and saying, we deem this canon, we do not deem this canon, even though we make this. Or it could be even someone as small as me, just kind of writing my books. I got like a dozen fans, maybe a bit more, give or take, 2 dozen tops. Just kind of writing my books, having fun, publishing them, and like sometimes there are fan theories which I actually, very rarely, but sometimes there are fan theories which I incorporate into my books. And I thank said person in the comments. Sometimes, well, not some, I don't want to say sometimes. In the case of Journal of the Survivor, there's only been one published one. One time, I even thanked a fan for working so hard on coming up with so many different ideas for the book, and getting their character in the charity event. Like, I used to have some really good fans, and you guys are still nice. You know, the more support, the better. It's very nice. If you want to go check out my my Google Plus, just look up Ben Moskalensky. It's the same name that's here, and I have a Journal of the Survivor 2 collection where I'm currently writing the first draft in bits and pieces of the current book that I'm working on. It is currently over 200 pages, but that's not kind of the... If you're not into sci-fi apocalyptic crime books, if you're more into, like, Like kids books, like kind of happy, fun, family-friendly kids books. Got another collection, The Hero of the First Islands. I have 3 different collections about 3 different books of mine, 2 of which are finished, the 3rd one that I'm currently working on, and there will be more coming as I publish more books. Make sure you check all those out on my Google+. But even I deem things to be canon. I mean, sometimes people just like write stupid spam comments like, what's an example? Oliver marries Hannah. Like, no. No, there can be no. C, why would you even think that? D, like, I don't even know how long this list goes on. It's very weird, very confusing. I mean, like, sometime sooner, like, their brothers, or their siblings, or something like that. I might, who knows, maybe one day I'll actually go with stuff like that. And that's actually one of the more rational, insane theories. Some theories are, like, crazy odds. So, like, some aren't exactly PC. Like some spam comments and stuff that like they use the names, like they copy paste the names, and then try to promote their own stuff, like kind of scummy stuff like that. I always delete those comments. That's one of the more rational. Even if I incorporate something like into the book, like siblings as an example, where would you get that implication? Even if that's what I'm thinking, let's just say hypothetically that that's what I'm thinking, and I'm sure that I use that one particular example. I'm sure a bunch of people are now going to be like confirmed. But let's just use this one with example. Let's say this person's dead on, and I plan on Hannah and Oliver being siblings. Why? Like, there is no. That's nothing more than a lucky guess. I've given no indication whatsoever of them being related. I mean, maybe there is something, and if someone like comes up with like a really good hypothesis, like cites resources to different entries, or it doesn't even need to do that, just like give definitive examples, not like I think this happened at some point around this point. I mean, like while they're in the Space Needle, blank says XX, and from the original jots and the hint in a certain book, and whatever it might be. If there's actually like a good thing, like a good structure, if you will, to it, of course I'm going to use that. That's a great idea. If the person is okay with it, that's a stellar idea. I'm going to use it. And I feel like, and I'm a small person. Like, very few people know about me. So you think, if I'm doing it like this, surely Disney's got to get it right. And this is the thing that makes. I'm actually going to zero in on the Carrie Fisher Superman scene, as it's called, or Mary Poppins scene. No disrespect to Carrie Fisher, of course. It's just like that one scene that she's in. It's not her fault that it's a cringy scene. Not only, I mean, my dad, like, he does not believe in canon. He believes in what is seen in the movies and nothing else. I personally disagree with that approach, although I think if they are going to rely on the canon, they should inform the fans. What's an example? What's a good example? Like, let's say as an example, they do a movie on Darth Plagueis. They don't necessarily have to say, every last thing about him and Palpatine, because a tiny little bit of it is revealed while Palpatine is talking about it in Episode 3. And by the way, that's what they should be. They shouldn't be doing any of this sequel garbage. They should be going out and finding the best books that they can find, the ones that they have approved. I'm not talking about going to some weird Amazon.net websites, or like, well, actually, that's probably a real thing. That's that's probably like a different part of the country or part of the world. You can actually go to Amazon.net. It may be something like Anazom.org or like some weird stuff like that, and like you find some weird Star Wars lawsuit-worthy-esque level of stealing, like nothing like that, like stuff like Darth Bane, Darth Plagueis books, especially Darth Thrawn stuff they've already approved. Just go out there and make a movie of that. But I think what made so many people mad about the Carrie Fisher, or not Carrie Fisher, the Leia Superman scene, I love that name for it, the Leia Superman scene, is A, it made no sense. It made literally no sense. But then again, it's Star Wars, like, it's kind of okay, because we already know that the Jedi have some powers, be it this one is, like, absolutely crazy. Like, even the thing with Luke making a clone of himself, I think they talked about that at some point. This is not a fact, by the way. On the Ben Moskalensky show, we like facts very rarely. Very rarely do we get them wrong. There have been like 3 cases where I've said something is a fact, or 2 cases where I've said something's a fact and it turns out to not be a fact or only part of a fact. It almost never happens. This is not a fact, but I believe at some point they did talk about the Luke, or not Luke specifically, but like the Jedi having the power to clone them, not clone themselves, but like make a hologram of themselves and do basically what Luke did at the end. Spoiler alert, by the way. Like, I'm okay with that, because that's kind of believable, but Leia was dead. If they didn't do that scene at all, I'd be fine. Like, okay, Leia happened to escape in the last moment, and okay, I'm fine with that. There's no reason that Leia had to die at that point. Or not die, but there's no reason that Leia had to be there, but they made the choice to put her there, and that's fine. But the fact that they make her survive in that fashion is just kind of, that's ridiculous. So not only is it kind of broken, but and it's been established in the canon, which granted the Thrawn books are, that Luke did teach her the Jedi ways, but he never finished. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm almost positive. It's been a little while since I've read the books. And by the way, if you're looking for a good Star Wars read, I highly recommend Grand Admiral Thrawn. That book was just, or not book, but the series was just stellar. I love Thrawn. I love all the Star Wars books. They're so interesting. But like Leia's Jedi skills are never fully developed. So how? I mean, you know, they should know about the canon better than anybody since they're the ones approving it, since they're the ones who can talk to the author and say, like, here's what you can do, here's what you can't do, here's what we approve. And, like, they write their own official documents. Like, if there's anybody who should know, it's them. But even if it was canon, it was never addressed in the movies. My dad and I kind of came to a compromise on this. Because we were intensely debating it. And by intensely, I don't mean, like, we went on for a while. I mean, we were yelling at each other. Just because both of us we weren't mad at each other, we just like to yell. And that's kind of how it works. Like, you can tell, like, when I do these shows, I'm a loud talker. I got that from him, and we both do it. So it's understandable how the debate went. But in the, we basically came to an agreement that made sense to both of us, in which they should have, even though let's say hypothetically, I don't think this is the case, but let's say even Leia did have these powers. They never addressed it in the movies. And you're making movies for people who watch the movies. If you want to make a book for people who read the books and watch the movies, as in like the diehard mega fans, you do that. You go do that. That's fine. But if you're making a Star Wars movie that is meant to correspond to the rest of the Star Wars movies, in which you never see Leia use her powers, you should you should do one of two things. You should either show it or clarify. Because I'm sorry, that is because what they did in Last Jedi, I don't know, that's just a really dumb scene in my view. It's kind of funny that we have an entire segment on the like, this is how big Last Jedi is. We have an entire segment on the BMS about one scene in The Last Jedi. Is it even a full scene? I don't know if it even counts as a full scene. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for our first segment. If you'd like to call in and talk about the next segment, which is going to be about Journal of the Survivor 2. I know I like talking about this, but I do like to promote my book. I'm actually going to go right now to the place with all the details. The number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. We have some very interesting segments coming up. Very good free-for-all, very good. Well, actually, I don't want to tell you what my last segment is, so you guys stay at the end. Not because I don't trust you guys, but that's actually a good tactic. Like, if you're looking to stick with viewers, you shouldn't always map out your entire video. Unless, well, that depends. If it's something like a guide or a tutorial to something, where you want people to actually like look into certain parts, like Zero, like as an example, TSM Team Solomon Zero talking about the 2-stock versus 3-stock debate in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. he put in different bullet points because some people already know the situation and just want to get his opinion on it. So they'd want to skip past him. In my case, I don't do that because, and if you do something like me where you think like the video, it's not like a tutorial or anything, or like an explanation guide or whatever. If you think there can be like just an actual explanation, like you're just kind of talking about something, you're not really explaining it, or giving it. Well, you could be giving an opinion, but you're just more talking about it rather than explaining it. If that makes sense. Like a vlog is an example. Vlogs aren't segmented. They have different parts. Sometimes they're organized, sometimes they're not. I prefer it when they're organized. But like sometimes vlogs are organized. So they don't give away like what's happening later in the video. It's the same kind of thing here. If you want a whole in-depth discussion, because I know how this stuff works. I know my fair share about how all this stuff works. If you'd like a segment on that, please let me know in the comments. And I might do it at some point. I don't know. I could just do it anyway, but odds are more likely I'll do it if there's stuff in the comments. I could do like a kind of tutorial on how to do stuff like this, or just do a tutorial on how to do different things on YouTube in general. Because no way can I do like a full how to get views on YouTube tutorial in a 15-minute segment. I just can't. Even if it's vastly summarized, unless it's summarized to the point of insanity and you can't use it, you might as well not do it. Sorry for going off topic. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with pin 24777. Once again, the number is 719-284-5873 with pin 24777. So, to those of you who don't know, and again, go to my Google+, check out Ben Moskalensky, and go to my Journal of the Survivor 2 collection. Look into every single thing I'm going to be talking about here and more great stuff. I am running a charity event in which the top 5 winners get their very own character or characters in my book. They can also get a dedication at the end of the book. If they choose, they can go under a pseudonym or I gotta speak better English. They can go under like a nickname or an alias, or they can go under a real name or just first name basis. Whatever you want. I can definitely provide that. I have a long list of rules, and I've gone over this in a past BMS on how this charity event works. Charity event should be along for another 2 weeks, roughly, I'd say. I know I've been saying that for a while, but like the rate is actually maybe more like 3 weeks. Just the rate I've been writing at is slow for some reason, because the quality is just way up. If you read some of the latest entries, and by the way, if you're wondering what I'm going to be doing, it's actually really cool. I am going to be reading an entry, just to kind of give you guys a taste, or at least as much as we have time for. I'm going to read to you an entry from this book, or at least part of it. We'll just move on to the free-for-all early, since I have a lot of interesting ideas. And there will be spoilers. Just ahead of time, I want you guys to know there will definitely be spoilers. So I'm just trying to find a good one. No, maybe not that one. I want to pick one that's more that can kind of work as a standalone. Not necessarily one that's part of something. The lawyer one. Oh, that's a classic. If you're looking for one of my better entries, definitely look up entry 143. I'm just debating whether or not I should read it. Okay, this one has mega spoilers. Like, I'm not talking kind of spoilers like your average Star Wars community post where you find out that one big annoying spoiler. I'm talking this entire book will be spoiled for you, or at least pretty much everything up to this point will be spoiled for you. If you read this part, or if you listen to me read this part. So. If you're watching this live, just mute the video for the next 10 minutes, or just go read it yourself. Again, Journal of the Survivor 2, Ben Moskalensky on Google+. Or if you'd like, you could check out my Instagram. I also talk about it there in more depth. Or even just past BMSs. Might be in the description of this video as well, if I remember to do it. I'm just thinking, is there anything else I should... No, I think I've given all Warnings needed. So, without further ado, the lawyer one. I love this one though. The lawyer. I'm calling this one the lawyer entry, and it's gonna go down as arguably one of my best entries ever in anything, like entry, escapade. What's the other one for Hero of the First Islands? Not adventure. Shoot, it was something else. It was something else for Hero of the First Islands, not adventure. I think it also started with an E, but I'm not sure. Ah, man, my younger audience, my Hero of the First Islands fans are gonna be mad when I forget since I forgot this, but I still remember. Of course, I remember Hawker's Memoirs because I'm probably gonna be coming back to Hawker's Memoirs sooner than Hero of the First Islands since I think Hawker's Memoirs has a bigger fan base than Hero of the First Islands, but they both stand in the shadow of Jots. Like Jots is by far my most popular. Sorry. Anyways, let's do it. Let's get to it. What DNA? Ethan asks, not showing any emotion other than anger and confusion. DNA from when your client grabbed mine by the hair and shoved a knee into his face. I do like violence. So next quote. That is not true. My client and your own. Should I do voices? As you can tell, I'm an awful narrator. Nah. That is not true. My client and your own lived in the same city, meaning they would have had contact. Meaning they could have had contact. My client has allergies in the springtime. And when was the date that this event happened, in theory? This is Ethan talking. I mean, if the data lines up, my client could have been walking by yours, sneezed, and have her arm fly into his face. I don't have any allergy. Oh shoot, okay. I gotta do something with voices because you guys can't know who's talking. Okay, let me start from the beginning. What do you know? Hold on. Okay, this is gonna be kind of cringy, but I'm gonna try some voices. What about DNA? I'm gonna make him like a Jewish. I'm gonna make Ethan a Jewish grandma. I'm gonna make the first, the other lawyer sound annoying, and I'm just gonna talk normally when I'm doing Hannah. What DNA? Ethan asks, not showing any emotion other than anger and confusion. DNA from when your client grabbed mine by the hair and shoved a knee into his face. That isn't true. I gotta give him a Russian accent now that I'm doing this. This is hilarious. My client and I live in the same city, meaning they could have had contact. My client has allergy in the springtime. And when was that this event happened in theory? Yeah, it's better if you read this on your own. I mean, if the data lines up, my client could have been walking by yours, sneezed, and then have her arm fly into his face. I don't have any allergies, but then again, there's no way to prove that since it's currently summer. You typically don't think of lawyers breaking the law and lying under oath, but then again, no way to prove them wrong. And don't worry, this text, the text you are currently reading, will be deleted if this comes back in any way. Okay, now I gotta do a voice for the fat lawyer. June 20th, 2010. No, I gotta do something better than that. I'm gonna make him Darth Vader. June 20th, 20. That's not a Darth Vader. I'm just gonna give him like a weird radio voice. June 20th, 2210. The second fat lawyer replies, glaring at Ethan viciously. The spring ended after the date mentioned, Ethan retorts with a smile. Well, at least the assailing charges have been dropped. Man, this sounds so much better in my head where you can do any accent perfectly. John abruptly gets up and starts walking towards the door. Everyone stares at him in shock. Where are you going, Mr. Crone? The judge asks. John turns around and replies, keeping his big, fat, fake, but good-looking smile right on his face. Home. I'm dropping all charges against Miss Holloway. Sorry for any inconvenience I may have caused any of you here today. Then John turns back around and walks out the door. 3 minutes later, I'm walking out the door and past Ethan, who I have been non-stop hugging until the time he slithers away from me and hops into his car and gives me a $5 bill for a cab. He also drives a really nice car. I mean a really nice car. It's a short, sleek, long aquamarine hover car. It's also an old car. Looks to be early 22nd century and is probably at least $30,000. At the very, very least. I get my phone out and start dialing a cab service. Stop! John, wait, no, he says it casually. Stop. I can't say the word stop. This is pathetic. Hold on. Stop, John tells me as his team of lawyers harshly glare at me while they make their way back to their own cars. I turn around and look at John, who's standing on the top of the steps, casting a shadow over me in the broad daylight. Since the sun is behind him, he looks less like a person and more like a shadow that stands upright and talks. What for? Are you going to sue me again if I don't? I ask, turning away. Okay, so before I do this next part, which is... it depends on whether or not you like stupid comedy, because this is either literally the best part in the entire book or the worst part in the entire book. I probably only did this to extend page length. I don't even know why I put this scene in. It's just hilarious. Before I do this, I was thinking about another entry. This entry didn't actually have a lot of the lawyer stuff. The first one did. This is the one where it actually gets a result. So sorry if you wrote this entry number down, or if you wanted just to read the one for yourself that I'm reading, just to so it sounds better, because it sounds awful when I read it. It's actually entry 142. Let me look up the name of said entry. It is Wow, I'm like, do you hear the speed right now that I'm talking at? Look at this. Look at this. The one right below this one. Okay, the suit. The suit. There you go. Suit spelled S-U-I-T. I'm pretty sure that's the only way to spell suit. So all right. So anyways, so I want this to be 100% clear, because this next part's kind of hard to follow, and we're only gonna have time to get through this part, if even that. So just to be clear, since I kind of cut off, this is John talking. You like burgers? Not really. Japanese? No. Burgers again? You are really high. Are you really sure about no burgers? Yes. Chinese? No. I really want burgers. Too bad. Your hair is nice. Do I look that dumb? Yes. No burgers. Russian? No. So, no Japanese? No, unless I have to. Are you doing this just to make me mad? Yeah. Russian? No. Japanese? No. Japanese? I'm sensing a pattern. Burgers? Do I have to say it? Ice cream? That's not food. Japanese? Nope. How long are you going to make me do this? Until you stop bugging me. Burgers with fries? Are you serious? Chinese? Sure. I already asked you. Wait. I already asked for that and you said no. Yeah, you deserve it. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Right. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. This continues until we reach John's stainless black limo near the end of the parking lot. By the way, I did not extend that scene for comedic effect. I did not exaggerate that scene to like wear down the time of the show until the free for all, since I got a lot of cool things to talk about for the free for all. That is literally the entire thing. That's not the extended version. That's the normal version. Probably should have abridged that, but I don't think I'm ever gonna do that. Shoot, I don't think we have enough time. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into this next part, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So that's gonna wrap up our second segment. We are currently half an hour into the show, so halfway done with the show. If you'd like to call in, we're right now moving on to our third topic, and our free for all. As always, our free for all. So if you'd like to call in, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. Excuse me. That was a failed burp. Whoa, that was a not failed burp. Sorry. Again, the number is 719-284. Wait, is it? Sorry, it's been a while. As you can tell, I'm not 100% back in the groove yet. 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. I swear, I drank water like 6 minutes before it started, and I'm already thirsty again. Or 6 minutes before the show started, not 6 minutes ago. I'd be concerned if I was thirsty after drinking a full bottle of water 6 minutes ago. But then again, I'm like at the rate I'm talking with nobody calling in yet. I mean, I don't blame myself too much. But again, we are currently moving on to our free-for-all segment, in which I have multiple things to talk about. One of the main things I was doing to promote my show didn't work out, but there's still a couple other lifelines, if you will. But yeah, I was planning on entering this lottery, but it's an 18+ thing. So Sorry, that's me trying to adjust myself to get more comfy. So that's one thing that we can't do. I love how I have so many ideas for the free-for-all, and then I forget them all as soon as the free-for-all comes up. I already brought up the charity event. Man, this. Oh yes, the next thing. I was watching SNL, the Saturday Night Losers, and I couldn't believe how bored I was. I mean, I haven't been that bored in a very long time. Yes, last night I was watching some of their clips on YouTube, and I was like, this can't be the same show. This show used to be so good, and I think they've always been biased to a certain extent. But like, at least before it was respectful before, and B, it was funny. Now it's just rude, disgusting. Did I just say disgusting? Disgusting, rude, just wrong, biased beyond belief. It's just unbelievable. It's not comedy at this point. And this is a big problem with cinema nowadays. I mean, not only do we have far inferior actors, astronomically inferior. I've recently been watching a lot of westerns. I saw, what's the name of that movie? I saw Big Jake. That's one. I saw a movie with Gregory Peck. I've seen like 6 or 7 westerns in the last 3 days, and I love it. I love it. I'm looking up. I'll know the movie as soon as I see Bravados. I saw the Bravados. Talk about a stellar movie, but we just do not have Gregory Peck's anymore. Gregory Peck's, Clint Eastwood's, Jonathan Stewart. I think that was his name of that, or Jimmy Stewart. Another very good actor. We don't have John Wayne. Let's talk about John Wayne since I saw the Big Jake. Very good movie, by the way. Highly recommend. So you got John Wayne, and we do not have a single actor in our time that is even half of what he was. You watch actors now, it's like, oh, it's so good, wow, but they don't carry themselves. Let's even say that they play the part well, just in theory, which they probably don't. Let's be real, they probably don't. But there's just no elegance to it anymore. There's no finesse. The only show or movie I can say that did that well, in this case, Breaking Bad. That is the only show in the last 50 years, it's safe to say. Okay, maybe not 50, but 40 years that had coming up on 50, that had real elegance in its acting. Like look at how Bryan Cranston acts. If your parents let you watch Breaking Bad, that is. They don't go against their wishes. But whenever you can see Breaking Bad, or if you've already seen Breaking Bad, that's how you act. Or watch any western with John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, Gregory Peck. I can't think of any other names off the top of my head, but the list goes on. The list goes on. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but or any more off the top of my head. But there are many good western actors. But like when you watch a certain actor in today's day, yeah, you got cool effects. Yeah, you have cool lines. You have funny lines, but there's no presence to them. When you watch a modern day movie, you don't feel like, wow, this is like, I would watch this movie just because of this person. How many times can you say that? And no, I'm not talking about a deal with like a crazy villain that happens to be funny. That's a very easy thing to pull off. Trust me, I know. Even in books, it's extremely easy to pull off. And I've seen many movie people talk about like the easiest thing to do is an insane villain. That's the easiest thing to do in anything, any kind of character. The easiest way to get a likable character is an insane villain. It's easier than having like a little girl or a little boy, like a cute little girl, little boy. It's easier than it's definitely easier than a good protagonist. Easier than all of that is just an insane villain. Because a lot of jokes that you couldn't really put in there otherwise you can get away with. It essentially, you have limitless power with that. But I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about main protagonists or protagonists in general that don't have any of these trump cards just for being those kind of, um, or just for having that kind of general character structure. Do not see elegance in acting anymore. And with comedies, you don't need elegance in acting. You just need some good acting. Like look at Vacation. There's no elegance in Chevy Chase's acting. He's just a good actor. But like you need something. And depending on what kind of movie you're doing, it can vary. Like you need a lot more in something like a drama or a western than you do in a comedy. But that's just something that people have completely overlooked because we don't have actors like that anymore. Now it's all about who makes the biggest speeches and stands up against the evil ways of America and injustice and blah 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 blah, and all that kind of garbage. That's what defines celebrities at this point. These so-called gods, which is essentially what they consider themselves. And you've gotten to the point where it's all been blown up. It's all been blown up. There's nothing good anymore. That's it. I mean, yeah, there is still good stuff. I shouldn't say that. But there's nothing. It's actually better 50, 60 years ago than it was now. Sorry, than it is now. It's an unfortunate fact, but it's one that we live with. So let's just take a quick look at any movies we have upcoming. Or at movies we have upcoming. Oh, wow. Nothing that looks good. Wow, you gotta be kidding me. I haven't heard of a single one of these. All the Money in the World, Molly's Game, Phantom Thread, Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool. Wow, I've never heard of a single one of these. Huh. Got some great movies. Anyways, if you'd like to, sorry for that delay. I was getting a number just a minute. I'm so terrified that one of these days I'm gonna have a live stream while people are watching, and then I give away my real phone number. But anyways, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin 24777. That is again, if you'd like to call in, talk with me live on the air. Number is 719-28. Sorry, let me enunciate that better. 719-284-5873. With the pin 24777. You can call in anytime you want as long as you're between the ages. I've actually kind of moved it up. It's more like between 10 and 16 now. That's kind of what I'd prefer. Because that's generally more entertaining for people to listen to, and I feel like that's kind of the audience I pull in anyway. There we go. Sorry, I was just making sure of something on my phone, or not making sure, checking something, and yep. Audio working well as always. Good. I mean, we don't really need visual, but that's okay. I'm sorry. Wow, I said that awful. We don't have visual, but we don't need visual, so it's okay that it's not working. Sorry. This must be really entertaining to listen to me not talk or fumble. I'm just trying to think. I know there was at least one other thing. I brought up the fact that the show isn't going live, like, big yet. I brought up the fact, I brought up my opinions on the Saturday Night Losers. And I should I just start on my last topic? I'm like hardcore considering. I just don't know how long I can string it along. Oh, wait, am I getting some feedback from the chat? Yes, I finally am. Oh, my God. Okay, so people are saying go through with it? Okay, I'm going to go through with it. All right. Whoops, don't do that. Yikes, don't want to do that. Okay, phew. I thought I was about to answer a call I was getting. I almost answered a call I was getting by mistake. Like an actual call. Not a call for the show, like a call by a family member. Yikes, that would have been really bad. Alright, so I'm gonna go through with it. Company involvement in gaming. Yep, I'm talking about this again. I might have to end the show a little bit early today, and that's okay because I'm really hot. I have a sweater on. I don't know what I was thinking, especially in a closed-off room with no water. But you know what? I'm just gonna make this brief, and I might end the show a bit early, especially since we're not getting too many callers. Yeah, I mean, there's no point dragging this longer than it has to be. So I'm just gonna kind of go into this. I was just thinking about the EA thing, and I feel like corporate involvement in gaming has gone too much. This is something that many people think, but I'm always more lenient. Wait, am I using that word right? I don't. Okay, it's the other way around. I'm less. Wait, merciful. Oh no, I'm right. I'm more lenient. Okay, because I was confused on whether it meant less or more merciful. It means more merciful. I'm more lenient towards big companies getting involved, like getting their hands kind of on a game or an idea. I'm more lenient towards that because like they're the ones who make it, and I feel like people overblow it way too much. So I'm kind of their I'm kind of the devil's advocate, if you will. I'm not like a corporate shill or anything, but or like some, you know, I'm not looking for a sponsor if that's what you're wondering. Although if someone comes to me, I'm not complaining. But I feel like it's not as bad as people are making it sound. But at this point, I feel it is getting too much. Like it's going in that direction. I mean, the perfect example is EA's Battlefront 2. It's honestly a good game. From everything I've heard, when I do I'm gonna of course do more research when I do my best of 2017. Yes, by the way, I'm taking this month off just because like I've been working really hard these last couple of months to get the best content possible, and I just feel like I want a break. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go into 2017 hard as I can, come up with your 10 best movies and video games of 2017. So that way I can get you the best list possible to start off the new year. Yeah, so I want to make sure I get that right, and I just feel like it would be better if I just took this month off and like came back to it fresh, if you know what I'm saying. But it's just become way too much. I mean, the indie games are getting better and better and better and better. A lot of them still suck. Like I feel like the indie games are overblown. Many people are making it sound like little indie games are at this point better on the whole than big corporate games. That's a lie, a lie, a lie. I mean, some games are really good. You look at Cuphead, Bendy and the Ink Machine, but they're just too one-sided. Let's use both of those. Let's use both of those examples. We'll use one then the other. Let's start with Bendy. Bendy has some of the coolest story I have ever seen. Arguably better. No, not okay. It's not. It's not better than Five Nights at Freddy's story. And I'm not talking about those cringy Five Nights at Freddy's stories fan fictions. I mean like the game theory, like what game theory talks about and like what it actually addresses in the game itself. I'm not talking about all that cringe. I'm not into that. I used to be into that when I was like 10 or 11. No, I was like 10 at the time. Yeah, I was like 10. Yeah, it was more like 10. And like that, I feel like that's the only age when you're allowed to do that, because when you're younger, why are you looking at FNAF? And when you're older, why are you that cringy if you're older? But it just Bendy is a solid game, but like the gameplay is not fun. I mean, people are like, oh, it's kind of cool. Like it's of course it's not as cool as the story, but the gameplay is still fun. But I've looked at it myself, and it's not fun. It's grindy, it's campy, it's too dark. Like the whole game is just too dark. And not story-wise. I mean, that's like the point of the game. Is it's a very dark story. That's what it's. That's the audience it's going for, and it delivers fine. But just the gameplay itself is just not fun. Meanwhile, you look at Cuphead. But before I get too much into Cuphead, if anyone would like to call in, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. So again, the number is 719-284-5873 with the pin at 24777. Starting to get sleepy here. I know I'm so tired. Cuphead. It has stellar gameplay. I love Cuphead's gameplay. Cuphead just looks super fun, very polished looking, very smooth, highly developed game, very creative. The gameplay, so the art style. Many people make it sound like Cuphead's art style is something special. It's really not. That's an art style that's been around for a very long time. I just feel like Cuphead uses it. There's nothing wrong or right with that. It's just kind of a cool aesthetic. People make it sound like Cuphead is the most artistically beautiful game. When like it's really not. It's really not. Let me look up beautiful video games, and I'm going to give you some examples. I can't think of any. Even BioShock. BioShock is dark. BioShock is an extremely dark game. It's very gritty, but like the style it uses, it's actually kind of the one that brought that stuff back. That kind of Art Deco style back. But let me give you some examples of games of just awesome. Of course, you gotta go with Final Fantasy. You gotta go with any of the more modern Final Fantasies. I'm playing Final Fantasy 15 right now. I think I'm like roughly, I don't know, an hour and a half into it. And I just love the game. By the way, they need to nerf Cloud. Please don't, by the way. If you're talking about a darker style game, I guess you could say Silent Hill. I'm looking at the list right now, by the way. I don't want people to assume, oh, he's just stealing off a list. I am, but I want everyone to know that. Little Big Planet had some pretty creative art. Shadow of the Colossus was definitely extremely creative. Bloodborne, that is one of my favorite games. It had with an extremely creative art palette of black and brown. I didn't think black and brown could ever be so beautiful, but it is. It's just a masterpiece of art. And you can look up all these games yourself to see what I mean. And to end it off, of course, Uncharted 4 which is arguably one of like the top 3 best looking games of all time. And I'm not even I haven't even brought up Skyrim or any of those kind of games. Those are just like top 20 PS4 games according to Business Insider, or top 20 like best looking PS4 or PS games according to Business Insider. Those are just the ones that I myself have personally seen among that list. Again, if you'd like to check that yourself, check out Business Insider. Sorry, I just saw a funny comment on a post I made. But I mean, Cuphead's art style is nice. I like, especially for an indie game. It's pretty cool. It's genuinely solid, but it's just nothing special. And let's talk about, and I know this is kind of a very murky territory for me since I have some very mixed opinions on this game, and I feel like the internet is. This is probably the thing they're most defensive about, period, Undertale. I mean, it doesn't, who is more defensive or offensive when it comes to Undertale? I'm sorry, what? What thing causes more controversy than Undertale? But, like, people may be like, oh, Undertale's art style is so creative. Like, yeah, for the Atari, I'm sure it would have been great. It's like, it's 8-bit. The point of I get that the 8-bit thing was on purpose, like it kind of worked along with the way the game felt, and frankly, I still would have preferred it to be. I would have preferred if it wasn't 8-bit, or 16-bit or whatever it is. It's definitely not It's definitely not It's definitely not HD, as you can tell, or not HD. It's definitely not 24-bit or higher. Just like 5,000 bits. Um, it's definitely it's reminiscent of a lower kind of animation, and I get that that was on purpose. But you see, when you reminisce a lower kind of animation, then it's a lower kind of animation. The fan art for the game, a lot of it, the non-cringy stuff is beautiful. I guess that's always the case. But no, some of the fan art for Undertale is just magnificent. Um, I highly like if you're a fan of that game, you just look up some of the more widespread posters that people use or wallpapers that people use, like the ones that the music channels use for their backgrounds. The big music channels like Game Chops. I'm not talking about solo remixes. I mean like Game Chops. Like those things are really cool looking. Like the Muppet one or Muffet or whatever it's called, Spider Dance. What other one? I almost said Final Destination. Yeah, I wish. What's the name? It's the one with the Azrael becoming the big goat. As you can tell, it's been a long time since I've looked into it. I can't believe I forgot. That's crazy. Orchestra. It's like dream something or something dream. Yeah, it's killing me that I can't remember that. But man, that's gonna bug me for the rest of the day. I'm gonna look this up as soon as it's over. I need to look this up right now while I keep talking. But like, I don't know why I keep going to the art aesthetic. I've been talking too much. But like these games, where they excel in one or a couple of things, everything else fails. Everything else fails. And I feel like company games are much more balanced, even if they don't have that one thing that's just stellar about them that people love so much. It's still like hopes and dreams. Okay, that's the one. The hopes and dreams. Got it. Even though they don't have most of those games don't have that one thing, I still feel like it's okay in the end. And the whole they're better because we talk about these like 4 or 5 main indie games that are unbelievably popular. We got Cuphead, FNAF, like FNAF the series, Bendy, Undertale. Those are the 4 mega games. Of course, now we have some other things that are popping up, like this Doki Doki Literature Club. I think that's what it's called. This Duck Season or Duck Hunt. There was Kindergarten at one point, which I think should have been on the same level as the rest of those games, since that game was hilarious. That's one of those more comedy puzzle mystery games, which I typically don't like. But that one in particular was just hilarious. I love that game. Sometimes I look at playthroughs of it because it's just so funny. But that's really it for those games. Now, how many famous company games are there? Hundreds, and you know it. You know it. Now, the indie scene has had a lot less time, but there are only 4 games that can stand up to any major company game. So let's start with the earliest of them being FNAF. So let's just to like put them both in even. So we're forgetting everything in 2013 or before. I am now going to go through, and again, we only had one big indie game in 2014. We had one. Now I'm going to look up 2014 video games, and I'm going to list off only the ones by big companies. Dark Souls 2, Destiny, Mario Kart 8, Smash 4, Alien Isolation, Titanfall. Shovel Knight. Okay, fine. Shovel Knight will join that group because Shovel Knight was originally an indie game, I think, so that's 5. That's 2. So, but I'm already at 6 on the company level. Bayonetta 2, Hearthstone, Far Cry 4, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Watch Dogs, The Evil Within, FIFA 15, Wolfenstein, The New Order. Is that it? Forza Horizon 2, Elder Scrolls Online, Halo Master Chief. Well, that's not a game. That's a collection. Disney Infinity, the Marvel one, the second one. Donkey Kong Country 2, or Tropical Freeze. Borderlands, or Tales from the Borderlands. Then there's Borderlands, the pre-sequel, Metal Gear Solid 5. 5? Wait. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. What? It's the Phantom one. Phantom, weird. Whatever. But that's already 20, I'm pretty sure. Last of Us, but that's remastered. And that's it, 20. No, Madden NFL, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, Lego Hobbit. Come on, you gotta count that one. NBA 2K15. That's it. 24 to 2. Okay, so you got 12 to 1. And those are just ones I know. Maybe the list varies for you, but it's 12 to 1. So let's look at what are the main 2015 games. It's FNAF 2, FNAF 3, FNAF 4. Now let's look at 2015 video games. So now the indie scene has had a year to jumpstart itself. Okay, that seems more fair. Fallout 4, Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid. Oh, that's weird. But now it says Phantom Pain. Weird. Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, Bloodborne, Star Wars Battlefront, Batman Arkham Knight, Black Ops 3, Halo 5, the Halo 5 Guardians. Excuse me, Life is Strange, Super Mario Maker, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Splatoon, Rocket League, Assassin's Creed. Oh, actually, Undertale 2, so that's 4. So Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Mortal Kombat 10, FIFA 16, Destiny: Taken King, Ori and the Blind. Wait, that's another indie game. So that's 5 to 23 right now. Yeah, 18 or 23. One of the two. 18, I think. Guitar Hero Live, but that one wasn't too big. Until Dawn, another indie game. Okay, so that's 18 to 6. Xenoblade Chronicles 10, everyone knows that. Madden NFL 16. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, a very famous one. Just Cause 3. Soma. Lego Dimensions, Minecraft Story Mode. The Order 1886. Witcher 3 Hearts of Stone. Never heard of that one. Well, that's... Wait. Well, okay, since I've never heard of it, I'm not kidding. NBA 2K16, Yoshi's Woolly World, Forza Motorsport 6. That's a collection, so I'm not doing that. So that is all of them. Okay. So now we have 24 to 6. So that's 1 to 4. Much better ratio, but you still get it. The company game is just on the whole, and there's a massive disadvantage for the indie games. I understand that, but that isn't. I mean, it's an excuse, but the fact of the matter is the company games are still on the whole much better, or at least they do much better. There are exceptions on both ends. There are a lot more good games on the company side, and a lot more bad games on the indie side than vice versa. This is a truth. This isn't an opinion. This is a truth. This is a fact. I'm saying this. Ben Moskalensky approved. This is a fact. So we see a clear difference in quality, an extreme difference in quality, and we should probably primarily rely on companies to make games. I'm not saying the indie scene should disappear, but we shouldn't treat them like some kind of gods, even if they make 1 or 2 highly popular indie games. So what we need to do is, instead of focusing on our own scene, which isn't working out as well, we should try to get through to these companies and use the 1 or 2 things that they fail at, which, again, the indie scene fails a lot more than they do, but the indie scene does have some perks. Get that onto the company scene, which can mass produce it. And that's what we should do. That's how you get rid of Battlefront 2, the EA loot. You don't need your loot boxes. You don't need your microtransactions, my boys. You need to learn. And we need to learn. We need to learn from each other. And I feel like this constant back and forth is useless. The weaker side should join the stronger side. They shouldn't eliminate each other. They should join each other and create a perfect game. That's just my opinion, though. I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know why I got so emotional at the end. Most of this show has been pretty chill. Even the kind of semi-philosophical part at the beginning. But I got triggered at the end there. But anyways, hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let me know how your New Year's is our doobie. That was wonderful English. I will see you all. Well, people are gonna get mad at me that I haven't done a video in over a year, or at least a BMS in over a year. So I guess this is my 1 year hiatus, if you will.